Welcome to TNT TV, the Femme Queer Entertainment Network.
Break it down, 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 down.
Hey you guys, Superwoman here, coming to you live and direct from TNT, Trinidad and Tobago. Another day again in paradise, quote unquote, as they say. Well, today we're hanging with some very close friends at the beach. So we will just be giving you all some ideas as to what really going on pertaining to the LGBTQ community in Trinidad and Tobago at this particular time. For the past month or so, there's been a steady increase of police arresting cross-dressers for loitering. It has become a trend that anytime they are found at certain locations, I cannot say well what they're doing, whether they're waiting for somebody or just hanging out, they are being arrested for loitering. Brought before the court as a sort of spectacle. A spectacle. No one else is being arrested for that, and there are lots of people that could be arrested for that, but no, they only target these cross-dressers, bring them before the court to make a spectacle of them. Some plead guilty, some don't. They advertise their names and their addresses. Up to 2 days ago, another case came up pertaining to that same issue.
We are discussing that earlier. No, the thing is that what you need to take in perspective is that a legal case is not being brought against you for being a transsexual or transvestite or some cross-dresser that's on the street and maybe soliciting, because then you acknowledge publicly on the laws that we have men who sleep with other men. Yes? Something that is not really acknowledged in the country.
Thank you.
So you're not making that case. The case you're making is another, loitering. Now, if you want to make a case of loitering, then quite frankly, the entire population loiters on the weekend.
Of course.
Because then we go by the Smokies and Bounties on the St. James section. We have the St. James stretch where everybody's loitering in the nighttime. Then you have the Valencia stretch where everybody's loitering in the nighttime. You have the Arima area by the Dial. Everybody's loitering in the weekend time. Then you have the Arpita Avenue where our more middle class population loiters from maybe 6 on a Friday. And that goes straight through until maybe what? Sunday. Maybe 3 in the morning on Sunday.
Yeah.
They loiter right through. And the streets are sometimes still on Arpita Avenue that cars can't pass. And the mayor for the state has been trying to lobby against that and try to cut down on the amount of nightclubs and that type of behavior. However, nobody is coming down and cracking down on those bars and those patrons that are loitering. Instead, you might go to Murray Street and target some cross-dressers for loitering. But is it really loitering? Is that the real issue? Now the thing with it, my take on it is that I don't mind them cracking down on them. I don't mind them targeting the LGBT community under the disguise of loitering, because then guess what? Finally, we can say that there's a systematic discrimination against the LGBT community once there's a historic pattern being set here. And somebody can look back and see over the period of time that this particular population has been identified, targeted, arrested. These are the cases brought against them. These are the cases thrown out. So finally, we have some sort of record being made, as opposed to what used to go on in the past, which would simply have been a beating. Police beat you and send you off on your way.
Yeah.
And you go and you make a complaint against police beating you, and what did they beat you for? Who beat you? What's the badge number? What's this? You can't identify them. So now that they're bold enough to bring you before the court to embarrass you, now somebody at some point will be able to develop a case for systematic discrimination against the LGBT community. So that's the plus side. I'm not saying that I approve the discrimination that's taking place. I'm saying because the law is an ass and the implementers of it are so foolish to go about this process, they are in fact aiding us in the long run to prove systematic discrimination.
Yeah, throughout this island, as we say, Trinidad and Tobago.
And what do you think about the response of the Prime Minister, who went before the the United Nations and assured them that they would have done something on gender policies?
A total lie. A slap in the face, because now the gender affairs minister is saying that, oh no, there's no provision for the LGBTQ community. She said totally. The religious communities she's listening to. So therefore it comes like Trinidad and Tobago is a religious state. It's religion we're dealing with. We're not dealing with people's rights, but religion. Religion running this country, and it's what the religious bodies say. That is what goes, and everybody listening. The politicians, but listening.
It extends beyond that.
Yeah.
Because what a lot of regular people don't know is that we have a lot of international trade arrangements now that are taking place. Going back from the Cotonou Agreement coming forward, you have the Lomé Agreement, and continuing to come forward. These agreements have been modified. Now you have the agreement with the UN group, and certain legislations or certain agreements have been put in place that states what you have to qualify for. That is a country that is applying for funding, not for membership. A country that's applying for funding, and that is countries from the periphery, not from the core. And we are from the periphery. So if we are going to them to apply for funding, unless we're going to the IMF or we're going to the World Bank, there are certain prerequisites that must be met in order for us to qualify. And they'll be looking to see how close we meet these prerequisites. And even if they decide to give us funding, then we need to start implementing certain policies, and they have policies that we need to follow. And one of the policies is equality, protection of human rights for all citizens. You can't just, and thank goodness our governments are promising to do something, but we can see their track record. And I'm sorry to say Europeans are not fools, as our little third world island might want to believe. They're not fools. They can look at our track record. From going back to the PNO administration, when we had the 2020 vision, which was another UN declaration, and it set out what needs to be done within a particular time frame, which is the protection of the rights for all of us, and certain other developmental things that need to take place. Sure, we've been developing gradually along certain lines, but we had equal opportunity legislation. What did they do with that? They squashed it. They took the equal opportunity legislation. They took drafts from what exists in Canada, what exists in South Africa and stuff, and they looked at it and they extracted what they didn't want. So things that would protect women that were pregnant, things that would protect members of the LGBT community, they just extracted those things, and then they choose what to implement. They could have simply put, words like members of other status, but they choose to omit that. So our equal opportunity legislation does not protect us. Alright? It's been brought into a law now. We have a physical organization you could go to file a case. What you filing the case under?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you
filing the case under? And
so, Kate, not to interrupt you, but Kate, with all of this legislation, all the, with everything going against the obvious progress of any kind of footing for gay rights in the country, does that make you more or less willing to come out of the closet, or to make your life known to friends, family, to the outside world per se, other than your partner and very close friends?
I'll say less willing, because they don't care about our rights. Hiding it, even if in the closet, enhancing the law and stuff.
What do you think for others that might be in the same position, or wanting to come out but being deathly afraid because of their jobs, family, accommodation, whatnot?
The repercussions are great because the thing with it, the community is very diverse.
Yeah.
So the concept of coming out is different for everyone.
For each person.
Let's say for No, coming out may mean letting her family know. For me, coming out would be a strange concept. Coming out for me would mean me coming to terms with myself. And for Kate might be something totally different. Why is that? Because we're a multi-ethnic society. We all grew up in different subcultures. You have the Hindu subculture, you have the African subculture, you have the Indian subculture, you have the Muslim subculture, you have the Chinese subculture, you have all these different subcultures, even though we exist within the wider society. And each subculture, each group has its different way of treating with the behavior. Then you have the different class system.
Yeah, and you see class?
Class makes a big difference.
It's a big difference.
Big difference because
Class.
for those of us who have money,
It
we
is acceptable.
We are exposed to the modern world out there, the first
Yeah,
world. So
yeah.
we can travel. We know what it's like out there. So we come back home with that first world mentality and behavior, and we decide, I am not going to hide who I am because I don't have to. And then you have those of us who have never traveled because they can't afford to, but they've only been around the Caribbean islands, and all they've been around is 90% religious societies that kind of clamp down on who they are. They don't know what their rights are. Even though we're a highly literate society, even though they say that a great bit of us are, literally dysfunctional, but anyway. A lot of us are intelligent, but we still don't know what our rights are. It's a double-edged sword. Take for instance, the new population of gays are bold, they're daring, they're adventurous, they're stepping out, but they're calling themselves DL. I hate that too. Anyway, I hate that too. Which simply means they're on the down low. So they're not disclosing who they are, but they identify amongst each other and that type of thing. And they're living a dual life. I know it to be
Would not be, isn't that contradictory to what you just said about them being bold?
So therefore they're not bold.
It's contradictory,
Right.
but remember, they still need to survive. You live in a society where it's said that we're a passive society. It's said that, we don't discriminate and we all get along. We all don't get along. We are separate but equal.
My question is, how do we explain sometimes, say for instance, everyone, on PNT TV, everyone around, Noah, myself, and everything else know how open we are in our lives, in our business, in our everyday lives, and it's not to say we usually come in contact with gay people on a day-to-day basis. And then I see people like us, and then I see, wonderful friends like you who have to hide, not necessarily to workers in work, but on the general public that you face. Isn't it frustrating?
It's not an issue of hiding. It's an issue of you are accepted by your family. But you're accepted by your family under conditions.
Yeah.
Everything is their conditionalities. Your family accepts you, but it's a don't ask, don't tell. We love you, but keep this private. We accept you, but don't find somebody. Don't be with somebody.
You don't have to be
by
public.
yourself. Be single. Remember the family name. Don't
tarnish.
disrespect the family.
Don't tarnish.
If you have to be with somebody, be decent about it. Don't bring them into the area. And then the next class thing steps in. And then the race thing steps in also.
It's everything.
All these factors. Then when it comes to the workplace now, the workplace will tell you plain, the government don't accept it, so they don't accept it. I've been told this by an employer already. Government don't accept it, we don't accept it. So it means that the individual perspective of your employer determines what happens next. So if you're in an organization where the culture is free, once you respect the laws and you don't break any laws, you don't infringe upon anybody's rights, they're not going to infringe upon yours. But you can't be openly gay. Then there are some organizations where you could be openly gay because why? It is more of an artisan organization where they encourage creativity and they see that as an asset. So it all varies. But at the end of the day, the general norm is that you cannot be openly gay and be accepted in our society without ramifications. There will be ramifications. Unless, however, you have money, your family have money.
Right.
Then you're good to go.
So I guess, you would say that we are particularly lucky in our lives.
Yes, we are.
No, you're not. You belong to the group of people who are insulated. Insulated in the sense that you don't have to rent. If you had to rent, then you need to worry about the landlord and appeasing the landlord.
And besides that, to anyone in Trinidad and Tobago, it doesn't matter because if I go to a business place, you understand?
If you go to a business place, you need to put your commerce.
Right.
They want your money.
Commerce.
So they're not concerned with anything else. They want your money.
Straight,
They want your money.
You understand?
So I would say law belongs to the group that you refer to as the property class. And belonging to the property class gives you an advantage. You don't need to worry about the family and the renting scenario because believe you me,
and the job scenario.
I have been in an apartment, and while I'm in the apartment, you still notice because somebody tell the landlord something that doesn't relate to the truth, and you don't know what they're talking about, and you're given notice, and before you notice, they're moving in on you while your things are still in the apartment and you have no idea what's going on. When you do get to find out, it's because somebody didn't like you. So they went and said some lie about some gay something or some virus and oh yeah, the virus.
Yeah. But that well, let's leave that one for a whole different. No. I think we should do that a whole other episode, don't you?
Yeah, because the thing with it, that dominates another aspect of your life. Again, we don't have proper legislation when that is concerned for protection of you and your partner and all this kind of thing. We don't have proper legislation for most things where it relates to us. Alright, there's so much that needs to be done.
But can we promise that the next time we all get together that we'll have a part 2 on this topic?
Oh yes, we will, most certainly.
Yeah.
And hopefully the group will be larger. We can have both sides to the story.
Yeah.
Be down the next side finally.
Yeah.
So babe, we definitely will have to show the rest of the people exactly what a Sunday is about in terms of
just chilling, just having a good time with close friends, and just enjoying the day, Yeah. Enjoying the day. Oh my God.